With van life videos, everyone loves to show you sunsets, beaches, the adventures, and we did show you that too. But you know what no one talked about? This.
Jeez.
I want you to visualize yourself in your day-to-day life, cooking, going to work, cleaning the dishes, going in the shower, watching the TV, going to bed, changing clothes, cleaning your sheets and washing your clothes as well. Now, imagine doing this in a 4.5 by 2 meter van. Well, that's us. And it gets messy and dirty very quickly.
One of the things I didn't really think of when getting into this was how much planning goes into everything. Where are we going to next? Is there water, toilets, showers? What's the weather going to do? Can we be outside? Do we need to find a library? Is there going to be signal? There's so many things that go into picking a spot that it can actually be very difficult to choose where we're going and what we're going to be doing that day. So we don't have a shower, we don't have a huge water tank. We also need to factor in how much fuel we're going to use, whether or not we need to store some on top. And we don't have an endless supply of food in our cupboard because we've literally got one drawer that stores it all. So this basically means that we need to plan every single meal a little bit more than back in the comforts of a normal home. Mostly because we don't always have access to groceries. As a result, there's a lot of mental load that comes in to the day-to-day in a van. Like, it's not overly stressful, but it's not like we can be overly spontaneous because we're carrying our whole house on wheels that is literally powered by sun and good vibes.
Living in a van, especially our van, means that we're basically living outside. The sliding door is our main wall, and when it's open, everything comes in. Dust, wind, sand, mosquitoes, fly, rain. We have no rest. Most nights we're lucky, but every now and then a fly or mosquito will just slide in and buzz around our head all night long, which is not great. We do have mosquito repellent and a fly screen, but yeah, it's not airtight. The most annoying part for me is just being aware that we don't get too much dirt and sand in the bed because it just disgusts me. Like, the bed is like a bit of my sanctuary in that van, so I want to make sure to keep it clean. I know that sharing your space with nature is kind of part of the deal. Our van isn't a sealed cabin. It's just a tent on wheels.
So when living in a van, everything takes a little bit more time. Whether that's accessing storage on top of the van, underneath the bed, doing cooking at the back, cleaning, laundry, everything has a bit more of a process. If it's windy, we need to shelter the flame for the stove as well as the pot that we make coffee from. On top of that, if it's raining, everything is just so much harder because everything gets wet, and we're trying to shelter ourselves as we cook dinner in the evenings, and that's really hard to do if you don't have anywhere else to do it. Things like doing the dishes where you're crouching in the dirt right near a tap to try and wash everything is both, one, hilarious, two, very difficult to keep everything clean, so it does take way longer. Trying to wash our laundry in our tiny little washing bag is an absolute chore because we only can wash like 3 or 4 things at a time, and we don't exactly have a clothesline anywhere. So if there's not trees anywhere around, we can't hang up our rope to do that. So we need to wait for a laundromat. And then going to find a laundromat, you then have to take all your stuff in, you then have to put it on, wait for it to finish, and so you're just sitting around next to a laundromat for about 2 hours waiting for all of your gear to be done. Like, all in all, it's fine, but you got to be in the right mindset to do it. Everything that we're doing at the moment is a team effort.
Some days just don't look like Instagram. If it rains, it's hard to cook. If it's cold, we're cold. And I mean, the bed is basically the kitchen, the living room, and the bedroom, all in one. There's basically days where we're too lazy to cook, so we just go buy sandwiches at the grocery shop and we eat it in the dark in the front cabin. Like, there's nothing romantic about that. Or there's even days where our things get wet and we have nowhere to hang it. so it cannot dry and everything gets to smell like sour cream that has expired. Also, toilets can be a bit of a walk and it's not always certain that they're going to be clean. And honestly, it's a bit the same thing for the showers when we can find showers. Like, it's not a crisis, but it's just what you gotta do to live this experience.
So as I'm sure you know, our van is small, like really small. We don't have a couch inside, you can't stand up, you can't sit down. You can only lie down in the bed or sit in the front cabin. They're your only two options when it comes to being inside the van. The bed itself, you can't just crawl into it from the cab. You've got to get out of the car and come in through the side door, which I figured out, the gap is about this big to get in. So we have to slide ourselves through a tiny little gap every single morning and every single evening. If you've seen our van tour, you would know that our drawer fridge is kind of small and can only pack a couple of things for a few days. So between Sol and I, all our clothes fit into one drawer. The rest of the room underneath the bed is filled up with bags, tech, and other gear. And what we try and do is separate all our dirty clothes from our clean clothes like you would normally do in a house. The only problem is we don't have the space underneath the bed, so we actually separate it and put it on top of the van in another bag. Like, it works. We have a system, things go back where they're supposed to. Only thing is, if you don't put them back where they're supposed to, things turn into chaos very, very quickly, as I have tried Sol's patience a lot on that fact. So that's pretty much it for the challenges of van life on a day-to-day. If anything did resonate with you or shocked you, we'd love to read about it in the comments.
Now, we just want to acknowledge that we chose this life. It wasn't forced on us. And in this housing crisis, we do recognize that a lot of people are living like this and not by choice. So we're not making this video to complain about van life, but just showing the realities of it. Because even when you love something, there's still some hard work behind it.
And on that note, guys, if you haven't done so already, please like, subscribe, and we will catch you in the next video.